I think most writers will tell you the same thing. We didn't choose this, we were born with it. For as long as I can remember, I've had stories running through my head. It started with poetry in 4th and 5th grade, finding the rhythm in words before I even understood the weight of them. I was obsessed with Alice's adventures in Wonderland as a kid. That sense of a world that looks familiar but operates by its own dangerous, nonsensical rules never really left me. As I got older, I got lost in the scale of Lord of the Rings, the urban grit of the Mortal Instruments, and the absolute magic of Harry Potter. But then I read The Great Gatsby, and I fell in love with the tragedy of obsession and the way a single green light can destroy a man. Before I had a degree, I just had a pen and a desperate need to get these characters out of my mind and onto the page. I'm Autumn Marie. You might know me from my Eternal series, or perhaps you've just recently stepped into the dark world of the Volkov Syndicate with Savage Scent. But today, I wanted to pull back the curtain on the girl who always wanted to be a writer and the specific skills I used to finally make that dream a reality. When I went to school for my bachelor's degree in digital design and animation, it wasn't actually with my books in mind. I did it because I've always been driven by a need to create. In a way, it's in my blood. My grandfather was a successful graphic designer who even ran his own company at one point. By the time I came along, he had moved on to other things, but that creative spark was clearly passed down. For a few years after graduation, my degree and my writing lived in two separate boxes. It wasn't until later that the light bulb finally went off. I realized I had the skills to build the very worlds I was writing. Being an indie author means wearing a dozen different hats. But because of my background in design, I'm able to be my own creative director. When you see a teaser for the Volkov Syndicate, or you see the specific atmosphere of a book cover, you're seeing exactly what I saw in my head while I was writing. I don't have to translate my vision to anyone else, I just build it. Whether it's the 3D depth of a mountain estate or the specific way the light hits a crime scene file, my background in animation allows me to bring a cinematic level of detail to the Sloan and Fenris experience. There is a beautiful bridge between the traditional act of writing, that slow ink on paper feeling, and the digital world where my books now live. I spend my days moving between these two very different spaces. Most of my mornings start away from the screen. There's something about the friction of a pen on paper that unlocks a different part of my brain. I like the tactile nature of it. The top-down view of my desk, a flickering candle, and the physical notebook where the first versions of Fenris and Sloan were born. It's messy, it's unedited, and it's completely analog. But by afternoon, the energy shifts. I move into my design software to start translating those worlds into visuals. This is where I find the color of the story. I'm looking for the exact shade of purple that represents the syndicate, or the specific mechanical screech that makes a metal crushing scene feel real. For me, the storytelling doesn't end when I type the end. It ends when the visuals match the intensity of the prose. That's why I'm so hands-on with my videos and my branding. Because to me, the aesthetic isn't just decoration, it's part of the story itself. If you've always wanted to be a writer, or if you're currently in the middle of your first manuscript, I want you to know that there is no right way to do this. My path involved a lot of trial and error, and honestly, more error than I'd like to admit in the early days. I've had published titles that taught me everything I know by showing me exactly what not to do. I've had moments where the tech didn't work, where the vision felt too big for the tools I had, and where the industry standards felt like they were trying to put me in a box that didn't fit. But that's the beauty of being an indie author. You get to define what success looks like. For me, it was realizing that the degree I earned years ago, the one I thought was for a different life, was actually the missing piece of my writing career. It was the tool that allowed me to stop waiting for permission and start building my own world. I'm not a corporate machine. I don't have a massive marketing team or a studio of animation behind me. I'm just an author who loves the dark, the gritty, and the beautiful. I'm a designer who loves to build cages for my characters and then see if they have the strength to break out of them. And if I can build this world from my desk with the tools I have, then you can build yours too. Whether you've been with me since my early titles or you're just discovering the Volkovs, I'm so happy you're here. This channel is going to be a mix of writing vlogs, book aesthetics, and deep dives into the dark romance worlds I'm building. I want this to be a space where we can talk about the grit, the obsession, and the beauty of being an independent creator. If you have questions about the Volkov Syndicate, or if you're a fellow designer trying to build your own world from your desk, let's talk in the comments. I'm building this studio and these stories one pixel and one world at a time. And having you along for the journey means everything. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss the full immersive reading of Chapter 1, where we'll step into the warehouse together. You can find The Heir's Reckoning, the Eternal series, and the upcoming Savage Scent on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. I'm Autumn Marie. Let's create something dark today.